Our trip started 5 weeks ago with a transatlantic cruise from New York on board the Anthem of the Seas. We landed in England and spent a week driving around the beautiful coastlines and countrysides of Cornwall. From there, we flew to Istanbul, Turkey, visiting the mosques, exploring the bazaars, and eating a lot of great food.
Wow, it's pretty incredible.
Before diving into the exotic landscapes of Cappadocia, from the surface to above and below the ground, we were amazed at the beauty of this region of Turkey.
Now we know why they call it Love Valley.
For the last 10 days, we had visited the capital cities of Sofia, Bulgaria, and Bucharest, Romania. And then we have, which I've never seen before, a statue, a monument to a car. And then driving through Transylvania, visiting one pretty town and castle after another.
It feels like it's very, very storybook, almost like I'm walking through a Disneyland.
Now our Eastern European trip continues with Hungary and Slovakia, before we cross into the west, exploring the lakes of Austria, the bustle and elegance of Vienna, and ending our trip in the south of France. How long have you been dreaming of this?
I don't know, but it's sure good.
We got some beer. After driving from Bratislava to Bucharest, we left Romania and flew to Budapest, Hungary. Our Airbnb was in a building straight out of the Socialist Architecture Design book, with austere and stark hallways, lifeless attempts at softening the harsh angles, and a general lack of color. But stepping inside the actual apartment revealed a totally modern and cozy aesthetic. Divided in two by the Danube River, hilly Buda lies on the west side, while the flat Pest sits on the east. With only 2 full days in Budapest, we started early and headed to the center of Pest.
So we just are walking by and happen across this, I guess it's a little monument. I have no idea what it means, but it's really cool.
The Parliament building is Budapest's most recognizable sight. While you can tour the inside, we missed getting tickets early and they were sold out, so we just admired its architecture from the outside. We made our way to the Danube River bank, where the memorial Shoes on the Danube bank remembers the 3,500 people, 800 of which were Jewish, who were shot at the river's edge, their bodies falling into the Danube, by Hungary's Arrow Cross Party during World War II. Other statues, a little lighter in tone, also line the embankment. Our next stop was Liberty Square. The term Liberty is ironic, as the centerpiece of the park is a memorial to the Soviet soldiers who liberated Hungary from Nazi Germany, only for Hungary to be ruled by suffocation from Moscow. However, the square also features the man who led the charge to end communism, President Ronald Reagan, who's positioned with a confident stride and a wry smile. At the far end of the park is another set of monuments, one official and the other in protest. The monument to the Hungarian victims of the Nazis was met with much anger, as it implies that Hungary was an innocent victim of Nazi Germany. The truth is more complicated, as Hungary sympathized and collaborated with Germany. In protest, a counter-memorial sprung up that seeks to ensure that the real history is not forgotten. Around the corner is St. Stephen's Church, named for Hungary's first Christian king. We arrived during service so could not enter, so instead we headed for lunch to eat one of Hungary's specialties, langos. It was fried, creamy, and savory deliciousness. Full, we walked back to the Danube. As we walked, we came across other memorials to real heroes from World War II. Having spent the morning in Pest, it was time to visit the Buddhist side of the city. Buda is dominated by the Castle Hill, and from the top there are some of the best views of the Danube and Pest.
Wow, what an epic view this is.
The castle itself is a reconstruction post-World War II and bears little resemblance to its original royal roots, and is now a museum. We spent some time checking out the views and dodging the tour groups. A short walk across the hill is the Fisherman's Bastion, a fanciful and rather Disney-esque set of city walls and spires. Its name comes from the fishermen who sold their catch and defended this area during wars. You can pay to walk the upper deck, or see the same views by roaming the base for free. Given its design and location, this was a magnet for Instagram wannabes and hordes of tourists.
It is an amazing view. I know we say that a lot, but it's really true.
By this time it was late afternoon and we were tired and thirsty, so another Budapest must is visiting a ruin bar. A ruin bar is exactly what you think it is, a bar in a ruin. Ruin bars sprung up in the 7th District's former Jewish ghetto after World War II. Housed in abandoned and derelict buildings and filled with secondhand mismatched furniture, eclectic art, and cheap drinks, it's an iconic experience when visiting Budapest. We came to St Wolfgang. With multiple rooms and bars, it felt like organized chaos and was perfect. On the head walking, we got some beers.
We deserve this beer right now.
Soon it was time to dive into some delicious Hungarian food. We grabbed a quick dinner of goulash, bone marrow, and chicken paprikash.
And we're going to the spa. Rainy day.
Supplied by 2 thermal springs, the Szechenyi Baths have multiple indoor and outdoor pools, all at different temperatures. We spent the morning enjoying the waters, hoping the rain would stop. With no end to the rain and very much pruned, we walked across the park to the Vai de Hunyard Castle. Built for an 1896 exhibition and meant to be torn down, it's another fanciful set of buildings mixing various styles, from Gothic to Renaissance. Chimney cake. Can't get any fresher.
Steamin'. Smells really good. It's like a cinnamon sugar, crispy on the outside, soft on the inside. It's good. It's still so hot.
From the sublime to the horror, we made our way to the House of Terror, a museum based at the former Gestapo and KGB-like secret police building. It was a fascinating museum detailing the horrors inflicted upon those deemed enemy of the state. We crossed town, passing the second largest synagogue in the world, and made our way back to St Wolfgang for a drink before grabbing dinner.
There goes.
good, but it's like drama. The bar was packed and had a great crowd. But there was something special about the Danube, and we had to do a river cruise. And at night, with the city lit up, it was a wonderful closer to our time in Budapest. Next morning, we had a short 2.5-hour train trip to Bratislava. Another travel day.
Welcome to our train seats.
This compartment, which is not very big, will be fitting 5 people for our trip to Bratislava. Bags stowed up above, bags over here, bags over there.
Time for a beer.
Where are we going to go to?
We are going up to the UFO bar.
Turns out it's just a nice lounge and restaurant with 360-degree views of Bratislava and the Danube. Some of the men's bathroom at UFO, and this is where you go pee, and that's the view. Having survived the UFO encounter, we headed into town for dinner and some local craft beer.
Just down from our apartment, we have this really cute church.
Bratislava is a small capital city and is an easy day trip from Vienna. But as we were here a full day, we spent the morning checking out the colorful and super clean Old Town before getting out of the city and visiting a ruined castle in the afternoon. Walked up the top of the castle here in Bratislava, and we're looking for a epic view of the city. We thought after a month and a half of traveling and climbing up hills that we'd be in better shape, but I don't know if it's all the beer or all the heavy foods we've been eating.
The hills still suck.
The hills still suck. So the old town of Bratislava is not that big, but off in the distance you can see where they've expanded, and it's all modern stuff, but you got factories, you got oil refineries, and you've got these massive wind farms off in the distance. And you can see from here, they must be so tall.
No more hills.
That's a weird window. 20 minutes by bus west of Bratislava sits the ruins of Devin Castle. Settled in the 800s, this location where the Danube meets one of its key tributaries, and on the border with Austria made it a key defensive post.
All I can say is that beer is going to taste really good this evening.
It was fun watching the riverboat sail by and climbing the various castle walls and towers. Back in Bratislava, we had our final Eastern European-inspired meal: stuffed peppers, steamed dumplings, and goulash. Tomorrow, we head west and cross the Danube into Austria.
So here we are sitting at the Bratislava train station, and we took a tram. Now we're getting on the train. Hopefully we'll get a car when we get to Vienna.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
We'll see. We got ourselves a rental car! We set up from Vienna heading to the Salzkammer region of Austria, about 3 hours west of Vienna. An hour into the trip, we got a dreaded tire inflation warning light. Not wanting to take any chances, and as we had seen a VW dealership a couple miles back, we turned around and stopped in.
Do you speak English?
Jeez.
So was that one was too much?
All of them were.
All of them were too much? Oh. All right. Well, that was
Okay, well, that was
lucky.
That was very nice of him.
We have our first lake in Austria, and it is a wow. A big wow. Very exciting.
So we've made it here to Bad Ischl, and we are in this great little Airbnb out in the country. We got mountains surrounding us. We have horses playing in fields. This is like perfect Austria. Tomorrow, we've got to go to a salt mine and go down into the mountain. That'll be interesting, and that'll be fun. And then after that, the next day, we're going to St Wolfgang, and we're going to do a hike all the way around on the top part of the lake to St Gilgen. So away from the big cities, it's really nice. Fresh mountain air, and we're going to cook dinner tonight too. So it's the first time we've cooked in almost 2 months. Yeah. We haven't cooked in 2 months, so this will be the first time. We'll see if we remember how.
It's so peaceful here. It's quiet, beautiful. Hear the birds, the horses, chickens. It's awesome.
And what's really nice is we can sit out here on a large terrace overlooking the countryside of Bad Ischl and the Salzkammer. And it's a perfect place for a beer.
Look at how cute they are. They're so cute. Look at the horses.
Cooking up some rosti, got some bratwurst and onions, and we found the cutest little mayonnaise things. Mustard, a mayonnaise holder. Little tube. Are we getting crispy?
We're getting crispy.
We're getting there.
It tastes so good to just stay at home and have a simple meal. And it was nice to cook again.
We got up and drove a half-hour south to the salt mining town and one of the most picturesque towns in Austria, Hallstatt. For years I've been wanting to come here after having seen a picture of it on an airline poster when I was a kid. Now seeing it with my own eyes, it did not disappoint.
It is the most idyllic little town. It's fine. Whoa.
One of the best ways and most scenic way to view the town is from the lake, and we rented a little electric boat for 25 euros for half an hour, a deal we couldn't pass up. We're spinning! Hallstatt was founded because of the rich salt deposits buried in the mountain, and we headed there next to go deep inside to see how it was mined. The mine entrance is near the top of the mountain, and we took a funicular up to the top. After donning our special protective yet stylish outfits, we headed into the mine. The Halstatt salt mine is the oldest in the world, dating back 7,000 years. It mined salt until it closed in 1965, producing a ton a day at its peak. Extending over 200 meters into the mountain, we walked and walked deeper and deeper until we had to go down. Holy crap, we are going fast. Oh my god.
I can even feel that through my butt.
At the bottom, we learned about the mining process and visited some of the carved out caverns. It was an interesting tour, and soon we were boarding a train to get back to the surface. Similar to the slides, this mine train was no slow, easygoing ride. Still some snow in the mountain, right up there. Before heading down, we stopped at a viewpoint that overhangs the mountain with views of the lake and Hallstatt below. We returned to Bad Ischl for an Austrian speciality, Wiener Schnitzel, before heading home for the night. It was a beautiful day to do a lake hike, and we headed to St Wolfgang to do the Pilgrim's Trail to Falkenstein Church. All right, we're about to head a hike.
We're ready as we can be.
I think this will be either the best decision or the worst decision. There's an arrow. Hopefully this means that we're going the right way. Okay, we think we figured it out. We gotta go up this road right here. And that will take us hopefully to a path. Well,
I'm coming.
always look for these colors when you're on a path. That means you're going the right way. And more importantly, you're still on the path. Along our walks, we're in the middle of the woods here. We come across these shrines, and they're just here along the path. So what's nice is there's plenty of these benches along the route that we can stop, sit, have some water, as well as just enjoy being out in nature here out in the woods. St Wolfgang built Falkenstein Church in 976 and lived here as a hermit. Inside there was a small chapel, and to the right, a carved out niche where he slept.
Okay.
Yeah, just took a spill. You know, this rock is all loose and all, and it was good so far up until this point, and then just fell down. Oh well. Keep going. Nowhere else to go, but keep going. Signs of the cross up all the way up to Falkenstein. We made it. There's water. There's a lake right there. We're almost there.
Well, and I have to say that I thought on this hike that as we were hiking that we would have lake views, kind of, it was right along the lake all the way around, and as we're doing the hike we would get views of the lake, but I think there was really one point only
we only
saw water.
Yeah, we only saw a lake, and only a very small fraction of it because of the tree line on the entire hike, but
nonetheless,
I see water.
It was a beautiful hike.
Except for the fall. That kind of hurt. But onwards. Almost to beer. That was the only reason we did the hike, was so we could walk to beer and not feel guilty about it. Time for a picnic lunch.
Time for our Sandies.
Not a bad view. Onward we go. Another hour. We started way on the other side of that ridge. Climbed up. We had lunch right over there. And then we just walked all the way back over here to St. Gilgen.
I'm glad we did it. It was a good hike. It always sucks when there's a ton of uphill, but I knew we could do it. It was fun, a little bit tired. We're gonna get a beer soon and all is well in the world.
We rested for a bit taking in the lake views before walking around the town. It was quaint, quiet, and charming. This has been well earned. 5-mile hike, roughly, give or take, but 300 meters or 250 meters in elevation change. We deserve this. That's good. As we had more to see, we boarded a ferry to take us back to our car in St Wolfgang. It was hard to not doze off with the hum of the engine, the serene views, and the gentle rocking of the boat as it crossed the lake. I don't think the beer helped either. Picking up our car, we drove into the town of St Wolfgang itself. While St. Gilgen felt sleepy, St. Wolfgang felt like it was on steroids. Crowded with tour bus groups and tons of gift shops, it was a little too much for us, and after quickly checking it out and making our way to a viewpoint, we headed back home. Later that evening, we headed out for one last dinner in Bad Ischl. Schnitzel again.
Do we need to eat this? Not really. Are we going to eat it? Absolutely. And I think we deserve it after our uphill hike today.
Agreed. Sad to leave the beauty of the Salzkammergut, we were excited to return to the big city, and we drove back to Vienna for our last 2 days in Austria. After almost 6 weeks of staying in Airbnbs, we were excited to stay in a hotel, and we got upgraded to a premium corner room. Vienna is known for its opera and classical music, and we wanted to do a tour of the State Opera House. Unfortunately, the only tour they had available was in German. So while we didn't understand anything, we were still able to see its stunning auditorium with its massive stage and the ornately decorated salons and intermission halls. Besides opera and classical music, Vienna is also known for its cafes, and one of the most famous is Cafe Sascher. Ready to have a snack, we wanted to try the original Sascher torte. To be honest, while it looked great, it was a bit dry, and we don't get why it's so famous and revered. We walked down Kettenstrasse full of chain stores to the center of Vienna, Stephansplatz, and the massive St. Stephen's Cathedral. Largely destroyed towards the end of World War II, the Gothic cathedral was rebuilt as it had previously been, including its colorfully patterned roof. More than a football field long, the central nave includes both Gothic and Baroque stylings, including an intricately carved pulpit. As the service was just starting, we weren't able to stay for very long. Down the Graben, or Ditch Street, another commercial street with chain stores and overpriced tourist restaurants. Past the Holy Trinity plate column sits another gem, St. Peter's. Built to commemorate the end of the plague, its Baroque interior is one of the prettiest we've seen. As we had just had the Sachertorte a few hours ago, we didn't feel like a sit-down meal. Instead, we made our way past the high-priced luxury stores, past the Hofburg Palace, and stopped at a wurst stand. We grabbed some sausages and beer, and joined the crowd in the Berg Garden. So here we are in the Berg Garden, outside of the Hofburg Palace, and we have our brats. Ruth has a cheese sausage and a beer, and I've got a Budweiser as well, and we are going to do what the Hofburgs do, which is sit in their garden and eat sausages. Your cheese sausage.
It's good. You can actually taste the cheese, and it's really crispy on the outside, a little smoky, do a little mustard. It's nice.
And I'm having the real Budweiser beer from Czech Republic. So this is Budvar Budweiser, and it's the original that Adolphus Busch, when he came over to the United States, took the name, and they've been in litigation for a long, long time. I think it's over, and I think this company, Budvar, owns it, Budweiser, in parts of Europe, including here. So you won't find any American Budweiser, just this one. So poppy seed ice cream, which is I've never seen or heard of before. It's actually, strangely, it works really well. And then I got banana as well.
Banana.
Banana's really good. But poppy seed ice cream,
I didn't get anything.
strange but good. Today was about checking out the finer things in Vienna, from elegance to exquisite. First up was the Hofburg Palace, home to the Habsburg Emperor since the 13th century, and home to the popular Empress Sissi. We visited a museum dedicated to Sissi and the Imperial apartments, but unfortunately no photos or videos were allowed. The museum was an interesting look into Sissi's narcissistic life, and the apartments were like any other European palace we've seen before. Next door was the treasury, full of priceless royal regalia, from crowns, jewels, to royal gowns. It was odd we could take photos and videos of the priceless jewels, but not of generic palace-type furniture in the Imperial apartments. Leaving the palace, we strolled through its neighboring garden to the Volksgarten. With everything in bloom and the sun shining, it was a mosaic of color. Getting hungry, we walked along Ringstrasse, past some regal-looking government buildings and the Gothic town hall where they were preparing for a Pride festival, and headed towards Café Central. Walking into the main salon, we were immediately presented with a display case of exquisite pastries and cakes. It was going to be a hard decision. I think we chose wisely. We celebrated our last night in Vienna with some cocktails and, of course, schnitzel. With our flight to France later in the afternoon, we had one more morning in Vienna, and we headed to the Nachtmarket. The market features produce, meats, dairy, and of course the usual selection of housewares and souvenir stalls. All right, finally I get my pretzel. I've been wanting a pretzel since we got here, and now I finally get to have one.
How is it?
It's a pretzel. We were planning on eating in one of the numerous little restaurants, but our bellies were actually calling for somewhere else. That's right, back to the wurst stand.
We have another sausage for lunch. We had to get one more before we left.
We had just enough time to visit one last cafe, and just around the corner was Cafe Havelka. While dark and brooding inside, we sat outside and enjoyed one last pastry.
We're heading to the airport.
Travel day.
Travel day to Nice. Yippee!
We arrived in the Côte d'Azur and just chilled. To be honest, we were a little burnt out from all the travel, and I was burnt out from filming so much of it. So while we spent a few days relaxing on beaches and visiting a few of the lovely towns, I didn't film much, and instead took time to relax. Here we are in Ez Beach. Another beautiful day here in the south of France. Water's a little bit warm. It's okay once you get in. Kind of keep moving around. The wind is picking up, but it is still beautiful as ever. Decisions. With 2 days left before our flight home, we heard that the lavender up on the Provence plains were starting to bloom, and we wanted to go check it out. Plus, as we would be close, we decided to throw in an overnight in Avignon. Avignon was a home to a splintered faction of the Catholic Church, who created their own papacy here from 1378 until 1418, when the papacy moved back to Rome. The Palace of the Popes is more of a massive shell than a palace. Not much is inside with the exception of some exhibitions and frescoes, which of course we weren't allowed to film or video. To be honest, not sure the €12 per person cost was entirely worth it. But as we'd never been, it was okay. Tired of stairs. I'm really tired of stairs. All we seem to be doing is climbing stairs. Every single place we go. Here she comes. So we're trying to make it the bridge by 6 p.m. so we can do it tonight. We want to go to a marketplace tomorrow. So hopefully we can make it. We got about 20 minutes before they stop letting people on it. So hopefully, up we go. So we made a wrong turn. I don't think we're gonna make it, but we're gonna try. This way? Only 4 arches in the gatehouse remain of the Pont d'Avignon. Each time it was rebuilt, it was washed away during flooding. The bridge is also the inspiration for the French children's song Sur le Pont d'Avignon. Time for dinner, we found a place that had something that Ruth loves to eat, foie gras. How long have you been dreaming of this?
I don't know, but it's sure good.
That evening, the town was holding its annual music fest with performances on every street and square. After dinner, we checked out a few of the performances. Cheers. These croissants are the best we've had. And we're in Ile-sur-la-Sorgue. Unfortunately, the weather was not great, so we spent a rainy couple hours in the morning walking the market, before later heading back to Nice Airport to catch our first flight to go home.
Heading home through Frankfurt. Off again for the last leg of the trip. Back home we go.
Heading home from Frankfurt Airport after a quick night stay at the Marriott. And now it's time to get home. We are a little bit tired. We're ready to go. Frankfurt Airport, and they had one of my favorite things ever when it comes to travel, an old style board. I love these departure boards. Our last row of the plane, big door. So that's it. While we were excited to be home, we couldn't have had a better time. Every place we visited gave us a unique experience and a better appreciation for the world we live in. And we come back from each trip more curious and ready for the next adventure.